Welcome back to a very special RXMuscle news update with the Rambling Freak, Gregg Valentino, my good friend who bashed me on YouTube, but you're here to break bread with me and make peace.
Absolutely. Dave, you know I love you. People actually think, first of all, I didn't come up with that title. I don't know why I'm talking in a microphone like this instead of talking like this. I didn't come up with that title.
You look like you're in Venice, California. Where are you?
I'm actually in a house. You know, I don't want to disconnect everything, but if I showed you right there's all pictures. I'm sitting at a table that Lee Haney ate dinner at 1987 in his prime.
Wow.
For 3 days, right here. My mother made him spaghetti and meatballs. Let me see. I don't know if I can show you.
And you still have the same table, huh?
Yeah, I still have the same, everything, nothing's changed. Wait, let me see if I can show you.
You look like you're at the firehouse, actually.
Oh, can you see this?
I see all the pictures there.
Yeah, can you see this is Lee Haney right there and right there? That's in this. Can you see that at all?
Yeah, I can see it perfectly. Yeah, I see it perfectly. You look like your little end table there looks like a 90-year-old Italian grandma's end table. I'm looking for the little candles that they burn. You know my grandmother used to have the candles they would burn. You know, every time someone had died, they'd light a candle for you. You know, a year after you were born or after you died. I think we lost Gregg. He got so excited that he disconnected the internet over there. We'll have to get him back. All right, it looks like we found Gregg. I think he fell off the side of a cliff like Wile E. Coyote, and you're back.
I'm an idiot. I'm a fucking momo. No, I'm a fucko. I went to move, you know, when I did the whole laptop thing, I knocked everything out.
I figured you did.
I'm stupid, and I got to call my girlfriend who's outside walking the dog with Dana Capabianco. I don't know if you remember. She a female bodybuilder,
Yeah,
Dana?
of course.
Yeah, I should get, Lucia, tell Dana to come over here and say hello to
Yeah,
Dave.
tell Dana to come. Dana was the subject of a lot of your articles you wrote back in the day.
Yes.
Right? Her code name was Lizzie, right?
Right, Lizzie, yep, the personal trainer. Dave, is that your feet or a dog underneath the table?
Oh, you can see my feet. Those are my feet. My feet are bigger than my dog, Gregg. Don't you know that?
Are you wearing fluffy socks? What kind of socks are those?
No, those are not fluffy socks. Those are, I don't know what. I can't see it on camera. Those are off camera. They're only on your camera.
Oh.
But my feet, I got a size 15, Gregg, you know, so I got very big feet, you know.
Holy shit.
There they are. There they are. They're flopping around there, yeah.
I could use those, I could use your shoes as a sleeping bag, size 15. Holy Christ.
True story. I have these small little dogs. I have a teacup Yorkie, and when I first got her, she was like a pound. And I lost her. I couldn't find her. I was looking all over the house for her. She was in my shoe. She was actually in the sneaker completely. And thank God I didn't put the shoe on. I would have killed her. That's how big my shoes are. They're like boats.
Dude, I could probably fit in your shoe.
They're like dugout canoes, basically, the shoes.
Shit, that's funny. I can see them feet from here. You people don't know what you're missing.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm talking in a microphone like that.
Now, you were telling us that Lee Haney stayed at your house. Didn't you tell me once that your mom was cooking him like Italian dinners?
Yeah, in that picture, and I can send it to you if you want to put the picture up or whatever.
Yeah.
In that picture, my mother made him. She used to make him spaghetti and meatballs, and he used to love the Italian sausage. And he would say to my mother, "Sausage, I just love Italian sausage." You know.
That's exactly how he sounds too.
Oh, Dave, it was the fucking craziest shit. When I would drive with him in the car,
right?
You know, I love Lee Haney. He's my favorite, one of my favorite bodybuilders of all time. Possibly, it's between him and Ronnie, who I feel is the greatest Mr. Olympia ever.
Okay.
But he would fall aslep, and he would sleep with his eyes open a little bit.
You told me that. You told me that. It was scary. Yeah, you said you were scared.
And I wasn't sure if he was dead. You know, I didn't know if like my mother made like fucking sonic meatballs or something, like, you know, it killed him and shit. But he would be asleep, and then you'd talk to him, he wouldn't answer, and he'd be like this, and you'd look. And you could just see his eyes. They were like kind of roll back in his head.
But Gregg, Lee Haney I had read an article once that he said he used to sleep between sets for like 20 seconds. Did you ever hear that?
Well, I never saw him do that, but I think it was Ronnie Coleman that did that. That was Ronnie that did that. No,
I read it in one of the Weeder magazines that Lee used to say he would sleep for 20 seconds between, like when he would, the rest between sets, he would actually sleep on the bench.
Well, I know that Ronnie Coleman, dude, I'll tell you a great story. One time, Ronnie Coleman went fishing with Brian Dobson.
Right.
And they were catching catfish, you know what I mean? And they caught like 25, 30 catfish.
Right.
And Brian Dobson at his place used to have a grill around the back. Where
I
they would
remember.
They'd shoot wild pigs, and they'd just like dead. If you go on the side of the fucking building, there's like rib cages and shit from like dead boars and pigs and shit, that they caught. Anyway, so Ronnie, they made all these fish fillets, and he put them on a platter, and he brought them into the gym, and he figured if guys want to eat them, they could eat them a little bit,
Right.
And Brian Dobson was going to sit with Ronnie and have some, and then Brian got a call, and he went in the office, and he came out of the office, and there were like 2 catfish fillets left, and one had a bite mark. It was a bite taken out of it, and he looked over and he's like, there's nobody else in the gym. And he sees Ronnie Coleman laying on the bench press sleeping. And he said his belly was out here like this. And he woke up Ronnie. And he had a hard time waking up. And he woke him up, Ronnie, are you all right? What's going on? What happened to all the fish? And he goes, I ate them. Dude, he literally ate like 23 catfish fillets himself.
He could have put Long John Silver out of business,
Oh, dude, Brian Dobson has great stories. He would say that, like, they would go on trips and stuff together, and Ronnie would have to stop literally every hour and a half, and he would eat, like, monster amounts of food. It didn't matter.
I went to Outback with him. He would order 2 entrees. He never got 1 entree. I never seen him order 1 entree. Always 2 entrees.
I've had dinner with him, too. I saw him eat steak with a big bowl of pasta, and then he had a big bowl of rice with it, like a big,
and chicken and a chicken fillet. He always did 2 entrees all the time.
He would eat at Carlo Filippone. I was with Carlo Filippone would make him just back when he was with Alti,
Right. Well, Carlo had the restaurant right across from Bob Bonham's gym, right?
Right. Well, yeah, it was near there. It wasn't
it was
across.
a couple blocks
from
from
there. Near there.
Yeah.
And I used to go there all the time, and with Victor Martinez.
Right.
And we had our Victor coming when he got out of jail and shit the first time. We were all there. We had a big party for him, and
that was a great restaurant. I don't know. Did Carlos sell that thing? Whatever happened to that restaurant?
No, he got rid of it, but now he has another one.
Oh, he does.
He has he's doing I don't know if it's another restaurant, but I know he does the whole food thing.
He's doing
for the
meal
bodybuilding.
prep. He's doing meal prep, and he's also got the chicken pound, the website where you can order chicken by the pound. It's a great. He sent them to me. They're absolutely delicious. It's the smartest thing I've ever seen. It's no other food. It's just chicken, but it's seasoned so amazing. It's so easy. Each thing is 1 pound. You could buy a pound. You can buy 10 pounds. You can buy 15 pounds. You buy it by the pound, and the more you buy, obviously, the cheaper it is.
And he could cook, bro. Let me tell you something.
Man, that kid.
We used to eat there. Yeah. We used to eat there all the time. I'd be sitting with Victor Martinez and myself and Guy Cisternino and a lot of guys. We'd always eat there. I mean, he would put out a lot of food. I mean, he'd sit there. There's 20 chicken breasts sitting right on a platter. You just keep going.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I've been there with Ronnie a few times. Ronnie be eating pizza and shit. Ronnie will eat anything. Ronnie will eat anything. I mean, it was crazy. What's his name? Robbie Duran was telling me a story how one time they were going to a restaurant. I think they were in Texas, and it was Ronnie and Flex Wheeler in one car.
Right.
And Sean Ray was driving Robbie in another car.
Right.
Look, I'm talking like Donald Trump now with the fucking hands.
Yeah.
So they're over there, and they said that he was telling me that Ronnie was literally driving like 120 miles an hour, and Sean Ray was doing like 45. You know what I mean? And he was supposed to catch up, and they would stop and slow down like this and wait till Sean caught up, and Flex Wheeler would be like and then they pull, they would laugh, and Ronnie like. And fucking just.
Well, Ronnie was a cop, so he knew if he got pulled over, he wasn't going to get arrested,
Yeah, that's what nobody understands. He said he arrived like a half hour late, and Robbie Durant kept telling Sean Ray, "Yeah, bro, come on, drive a little faster." And Sean's like, "No way, I'm not getting a ticket. Ronnie's a cop; he can get away with that, But Ronnie would fuck with him, Ronnie's a panic, I was with Sean Ray. It was me, Sean Ray. What the hell's his name? I think it was Kevin Lavrona and Flex Wheeler. We were in a car, and Sean Ray was driving driving Silvio Samuel's rent-a-car at the Arnold Classic. This is a long time. This is when we all worked together.
Yeah.
And Sean Ray's going, dude, because Flex Wheeler kept telling him, dude, drive, come on, drive. What are you doing? Because Sean drives a little bit like an old man.
Yeah.
And Sean's like, hey, listen, I've been coming here for how many years, to the Arnold Classic. I competed in the 80s. I know exactly what I'm doing. And then as soon as he said that, I swear to God, he was driving the wrong way on a one-way street and shit. And cops came. So he fucking turned into a parking lot and just missed hitting a pole. I mean, like this big. So Flex Wheeler's like, dude, what are you, crazy? Like, get me the fuck out of this car. You know what I mean? Like, I thought you knew what you were doing. He went down the wrong way. I mean, like, it's little stories like that. It's like funny,
Well, Gregg, what's been your recollection of the Olympias? You've gone to a lot of Olympias. I know I'm more interested in the older ones rather than the new ones because the new ones we kind of know they're kind of status quo. What was like the best, I guess, Olympia you went to from each decade? 80s, 90s.
Good question. I was there when Lee Haney won his first Olympia in New York, and that's when Sergio Oliva made his comeback. I was kind of rooting for Sergio because, Sergio was this monster and, he was an older man now and he hadn't competed for a long time and he came back. So that was a great Olympia. And Haney dethroned Samir Banu, who came in Samir Banu came in too big. He tried to put on too much muscle, kind of like what happened with Rich Gaspari.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He can't, styles make fights. Right. So you can't, in fighting, if you're a boxer and shit, you can't try to outpunch a puncher. You got to, you know what I mean? You got to keep your style. And what happens is Rich Gaspari tried to put on too much weight one year, and the same thing happened. But Samir Banu that year put on too much weight, and he lost to Lee Haney. But
do you think that Samir Banu would have been like a classic physique Olympia champ?
Absolutely. Yeah. He had sleek lines in a way he would snap poses, and
right.
It's funny because him and Lee Labrada are brother-in-laws. He married Lee Labrada's sister.
Right.
And I felt that in some of the poses, all that, like that kind of shit with arms extended, and they had similar poses, and they both looked unbelievable. Right. But that Olympia was a great Olympia, the one in New York where Lee Haney won the first. But I'll tell you the one I thought was the best that I've been to, and it was the '88 Olympia in Los Angeles. That Olympia was great. I mean, that's where you saw Momo Benaziza come out, and I mean, nobody even knew what the fuck this guy was, and he was just a monster. He was a monster. Phil Hill looked phenomenal on that. They all did great posing. Sean Ray was on his game. You know what I mean? You had all these guys were fucking unbelievable. Mike Christian, and Haney was probably maybe at his best. I don't know. He just looked unbelievable. It was a great Olympia. Everybody posed great. If you ever watch like replays of that, it was an unbelievable Mr. Olympia. I told Lee Labrada, Lee, if you're watching this, you remember how bad of a driver I am. He bitched, when I was in the car, because I would talk to him, and I would turn and talk like this, and I'm driving, and my friend would grab the wheel and shit, because I'd be in the other. I saw Lee Labrada. He was like, and Jackie Paisley was in the car too. He said, like this. But Lee Labrada was at my place 2 weeks before the Mr. Olympia.
In California?
88. 2 weeks.
In California?
No, New York, here at my house.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I was doing a show and I had him guest pose and everything like that. So he came, he stayed, he trained at my gym, and he loved my gym. This whole picture, we did triceps together and everything.
Right.
And I remember him peeling hard-boiled eggs and eating the egg whites and was eating white rice, and he was kind of like, it was getting to him. And his wife was like, back then she was his girlfriend, I think.
Robin,
but she was with him, and she was telling him, listen, you don't have to, you don't have to do this. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to, if you don't want to do this, don't complain. Either do it or don't do it. But because I guess he was bitching a little bit. She didn't want to hear it.
It's cranky.
But he actually taught me a lesson. He was telling me about bodybuilders. And Dave, I know you're gonna love this one. He actually told me. He said, Gregg, before I came out to see you, okay. He said that, we were eating at an very old farm restaurant. And he said, I looked outside and I saw this giant, 2,000-pound fucking bulls. You know what I mean?
Right.
These giant bulls. And there was a bunch of them. And they were sitting, and it was this old rickety fence that some farmer made of this rickety old wood. And it looked like it was 100 years old. And He said to himself, he said, you know, I wondered why, what those bulls could just walk right through that fence and smash him down if they wanted, you know? He said, but they were trained that soon they would walk up to the fence and then they'd move away. They'd walk up to the fence and move away. And he said they were obviously trained that they were afraid to go, you know, try to bust that fence down and just get the fuck out of there. So he goes, I thought to myself, how many bodybuilders build fences in their brains that they're afraid to go beyond conventional thought of what they were taught to believe? You know, got to go heavy or go home. Got to squat. You know, got to do bench. You know, all those different things. He said, and he said, I was equating that with bodybuilding. I'm thinking, look at these bulls. They're trained. They're so afraid to go beyond that fence that was, you know, right there when they can easily break it down. He said, and I felt like a lot of bodybuilders, that's their problem. They read these things in a magazine or somebody says you got to do it this way. And it's not that way for everybody. So you got to find what's right for you. And that's what he told me. And I'll never forget that lesson. That
interestingly, because I think that Dorian Yates really broke the fence down, so to speak, because after him, no one was that big until Yates came around, and then everyone got big, right? So Yates broke the fence down, really.
Absolutely, and you know, it's true because Dorian also did kind of like the Mike Mensa routine, and that was kind of dead again. You know, Mensa brought it out. You know, the Arthur Jones, you know, trained to failure, one set, and all that stuff, and then Yates was kind of training that way. You know what I mean?
But Dorian said that he picked that up later in his career. And so I think he was training a little more conventionally when he actually put the size on. Then he kind of took it to the next level at some point. But no one was that big. I mean, we thought Haney was huge. What was he, 245 on stage maybe?
No, Haney?
Yeah.
I think maybe he might have hit 240. Yeah, you know, they exaggerate all the weights. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah. Dude, Arnold Schwarzenegger was a little bit more than 10 pounds off of being a 212. Wow. You know that, right?
No, I didn't know that.
Arnold was only like 222, 224 at the most.
Wow.
You're right. Haney was around 240-ish.
So, I mean, and then Yates comes out in these, 265. I mean, that was a huge jump. And he was 300 pounds in the offseason. No one had been that before. And I think that's when all the bodybuilders said, hey, we could do it too. And then all of a sudden you had 1 million people. I know I saw it, and I said, fuck, if he can do it, I can do it. And I was probably the first 300-pound amateur, I would say.
Oh, dude, not for nothing. You know I love you, regardless of what the people on the internet think. That was Joe that made up that title. But listen to me. I got to tell you something. I remember you fucking being humongous. Holy fuck, you were huge. I mean, people don't realize that. You were a fucking mass monster, bro. You were fucking... You were definitely in the 90s. You were the biggest fucking guy. People don't realize, they see you sitting there now. Right. You know what I mean? And they don't realize that and I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. You were tremendous. I remember when I first met you, you were at that Bob Bonham's show, and you were talking to the guy from Osmo about the fucking protein powders and the fucking, remember that? Yeah. And I was with the guy from Osmo. I was sitting there bullshit with him. And that's the first time I saw you. Now, Fran Volpe used to tell me, dude, you got to see this kid, Dave Palumbo, and because, I know Fran, we all...
I used to train with Fran, in Westchester there,
Yeah, Fran. Dude, you know what I want to tell you? It's funny we talk about Fran because Charlie Arms, when I was a kid, I used to train. I used to go, dude, you'll love it. I used to go to White Plains YMCA. And you're talking 1976, guys. 1976. So for all you guys,
I was in first grade. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to be 60 years old. People don't realize I'm old. So for all you guys are saying I'm a clown, I don't know what I'm doing, you fucking talking shit. Anyway, listen, 1976. I'm in the gym. I go into the White Plains YMCA, and Charlie Arms is in there. Now, Charlie Arms had like 23-inch arms in 1976, and he wasn't fat. I mean, he was jacked. They were like fucking bowling balls. And I'm over there. And I'm on the fucking cable. You know the cable thing you pull off the fucking wall, right? Sure. And I was over there. I was like curling off it like this, And I'm like 15, 16 years old. And I'm jacked. I'm really built. I'm a natural bodybuilder. But what? I'm a $150. You know what I mean? $148. Yeah. So Charlie Arms comes over there and goes to me, hey, off. Let's go. Off. He goes, I need to get on there. Let's go. And I'm looking at him, and I dropped the weight. And I was like, okay, I'm sorry. And he goes, come on, let's go. Get out of the way. And he starts doing triceps like this, So I go over, and now I go over, and I go sit on a bench. This is a White Plains YMCA, guys. I go over, I'm sitting on a bench, and I start doing like, dumbbell curls. I had like 35, 40 pounds, right?
Yeah.
And I'm doing concentration curls. No shit. 5 minutes later, comes over there. Hey, oh, no, put the dumbbell down. Let's go. Go, come on. Find another dumbbell. Let's go. And I'm like, oh, I thought he was like stalking me. I'm like, hey, no problem. I'm sorry. And he had a big handlebar mustache.
Yeah,
and he had long hair like Jesus. And and he was jacked, bro. I mean, fuck. And when he talked, you shit your pants. You know what I mean?
He does that now. At 70 years old, you still shit your pants.
I know. I've seen him. He's a good guy. I mean, I looked up to him, because I was back in that era. You had Mike Torsha used to train there.
Yeah. Isn't it weird how I know Westchester there were no gyms. People trained at the YMCA. Then it became like the valleys that people went to. There was no freaking real gyms there for a long time.
You're right. I trained at a place later on called Bob Baff's. It was a Nautilus Center first, and then they had a gym equipment. But
Rob Messino opened the first gym, right? East Coast?
Rob Messino, who is a good friend of mine. I know.
Rob lives right by me down here. My wife's great friends with him. Yeah.
When you see him, tell him I said hello.
We were talking about you the other day when I saw him. Yeah.
I used to idolize him. I was a kid. I used to see him. He'd come up out of the stage. He had those lats, and he'd do this pose where he'd raise up like, Dude, he looked great, Rob Messino. But he opened East Coast Fitness Center. So then I used to go down there. But that was open in like 1980.
Wow.
The other gym I was training at was, in the 70s. It was a Nautilus Center.
Right.
But that was an animal house. You had Fran Volpe, Willie Marshall, Christian Binney. Then you had George Palmero. All these fucking great bodybuilders that came out of there. They were maniacs too, bro.
Angelo Vizella, right?
Angelo Vizella, dude. What a Rich Gaspari beat him by like 1 point for the Mr. Westchester. Angelo Vizella. Dude, then you had like maniacs like Nick Cali and all these guys, they were crazy, bro. When there would be fights, the whole gym would be like a fucking barroom brawl. Dumbbells would be flying and shit. And Dave, these people out here, they don't know, because Charlie Arms would be there. You guys don't know. Dave will tell you, these guys were no joke. They were fucking maniacs. Am I right or wrong, Dave?
Oh yeah, I think they all went to jail too eventually.
Every one of them, even me. I went to jail. No, these guys were like hitmen. Bro, they were all fucking bad dudes, bro. You didn't fuck with them. You go outside, they'd be, they would fucking hit you with a dumbbell on the head. They'd shoot you, they'd kill you. I mean, they were crazy down there. That was a fucking animal house. They don't have gyms like that anymore.
No. I don't think there's ever been a gym like that anywhere, to be honest with you.
Tony Cucciella was doing dips. And, Tony's won a lot of bodybuilding shows. I think he won the Mr. America one. But he's doing the dips, right? And he used to scream, ah! This fucking... Charlie Arms told him. Charlie Arms hated his guts. You know who could tell you stories about this? Frank Wilhelm. Your buddy. You know Frank.
Yeah, of course. He's a very good friend of mine, yeah.
Yeah, so but anyway, this is a true story. So fucking he would do these sets and he'd scream and Charlie Arms would tell him, "Stop fucking screaming. You're annoying me now." And he'd pound out loud too. 5, 6. And you're over there, and you're doing reps, right? And you're on like 3, and he's on like 8. So you're going 3, 9, and it fucks you up. Charlie Arms was getting stewed, and George Palmero was training with told him, "Hey, listen, you better stop because you can see he's getting mad. Stop." And he's like, "Fuck him, fuck you." So he gets over there and starts to do a dipping set. Charlie Arms walks over and punches him, knocks him out, and he was hanging in the dipping bars like this, unconscious, totally knocked out. Totally fucking knocked out. Unbelievable. Unconscious fucking cold. Yeah, and you see these people out here, they don't know. They don't even know these guys we're talking about.
Yeah.
But they're legends. You guys don't know. These guys had flavor. Dave will tell you, Dave knows these guys. These guys I grew up with, they were fucking maniacs.
Yeah, no. You know that Charlie Arms turned pro, at 60 years old. He competed for the first time. Yeah. Yeah, he actually won a couple pro 60 and over shows too.
Holy Christ.
He's great physique.
Dave, let me tell you, I remember him when I was a kid. He had the fucking small waist. He had the big back. His fucking arms.
If he ever had competed, when he was younger, he probably would have done really well because he had a great physique.
Oh, yeah. He was an animal, too. I mean, he was a fucking animal. You ain't going to be – he'll go in a bar and fucking – there could be a bar of Hell's Angels and they'd all be flying through the window. I mean, he
could fight. He could fight. Oh,
yeah. He was a bad dude. Well, I was in those – dude, I loved every second of it. we all used to go crazy, you know? Fran Volpe, another one, you know? You say 2 words to him, somebody's teeth were on the floor and shit, you know? And he's my height. He's 5'6". He's not like, you know, he ain't breaking no height records.
No, he's like you. He has a very similar physique to yours, actually.
Yeah, we do. We had very similar, you know, so, and then Lenny Serrero, who competed, I don't know if you remember Lenny, he competed against actually Lee Haney in the Teenage America, lost, you know? But he was from there too, East Coast Fitness Center.
There was a lot of good talent up in that Westchester, but the guys were all had mental problems, and I think that's what prevented them from doing well.
That's the problem. Even me, Bobby Bader. By the way, I don't know if you remember Bobby Bader. He died.
No.
But all those guys, they were all fucking. Every one of them had great potential, but we all got in trouble all the time. You know, so that was part of the problem. Everybody's always in trouble, but they had great physique. Dave, you remember this guy right here? Rory Liedlmeyer, 1979, this magazine, August 1979.
You know that Rory Liedlmeyer is actually working with Stan DeLongo, also known as Stanimal. He's a classic physique Olympian guy, going to be competing at the Olympia. He's helping with his posing. Him and Samir.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Rory contacts me sometimes. Dude, I've got to tell you people, you don't know. That guy, I mean, it was Vince Gironda who I met as well. I can send you pictures. And this guy right here, Rory Liedlmeyer, man, I was in Gold's Gym in 1980, 81, 82, the real Gold's Gym.
Yeah.
He was, oh my God, I've talked about this before. He was amazing, Dave. Amazing. He had a beautiful, small waist. He had a structure that was incredible. He wouldn't have to do double body. I mean, no matter what he did, just put his hand on his hip, hang his arm down. And he looked fucking amazing. His arms were so big. What's that?
He would have been a classic physique Olympia champ for sure.
Oh, easily. He could have won the Olympia, that guy. His physique was amazing. And he was such a great trainer. He trained John Aranita and Rudy Hermosillo back when I was there. I used to watch them train. Rudy Hermosillo was like 5'2". You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Dean Tornabene, another one. Yeah. He's like 5'2", 5'3". See, you got to remember, people don't realize I was around with all these guys when Tony Pandolfo and all the New York guys and Mahalik and all them guys were winning. I started working out in 72. You know, that's what people don't realize. They think, they think I'm just some fucking asshole. They think the Zito, bullshit. Get out of here. You know what I mean?
Greg, 1990s. What do you think was the best Olympia in 1990s?
Oh, wow.
Because remember, Ronnie won his first Olympia in 98. But Yates won the first Olympia in 92. So you really had Haney, Yates, and Ronnie in that same decade. Which was the best Olympia?
You have to say, this is just my opinion, Dave, but I'd have to say 98. The reason why was because it was such a fucking dogfight between Flex Wheeler, who looked phenomenal, too.
Yeah.
I mean, that was Flex Wheeler's show. If you would have talked to people going in, but I saw videos of Ronnie before that, and then I saw Ronnie in person, and he looked unfucking believable. His waist was tiny.
Yeah.
So that dog fight, I mean, he basically, if you would have asked everybody going into that, they were going to say, well, probably Flex Wheeler's going to win this. You know what I mean? Because he was like an uncrowned Mr. Olympia already.
Sure.
They were kind of waiting for Yates to get the fuck out of it, and it was going to be Flex Wheeler time.
Right.
But the way Ronnie came in, and that dog fight at the end, and when they stood there at the end, everybody was, I mean, you could have heard a pin drop.
Yeah.
A fucking pin drop.
It's in New York, too.
It was in New York.
Madison Square Garden.
Dude, I was standing right next to what's his name. We were talking a little bit here. I can't believe I know him, and I can't believe I forgot his name. The guy that knocked out Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Chuck Zito?
Chuck Zito. And he was wearing his long jacket shit. I remember he was saying to me, I think Coleman's going to take it. I think Coleman's going to take it. And son of a bitch, he was right. Dude, Coleman, when they announced Ronnie, even Ronnie fell to his knees. He started crying like a baby. I mean, it was unbelievable. I'd have to say that Olympia. Yeah. What do you think?
Yates winning in 93, he looked amazing, but it was a blowout. So, yeah, I mean, I guess as far as competitiveness, you'd have to say 98, although Yates losing to Haney in 91, was a pretty good one too, because that was probably Haney's best. And I knew Haney came. I even asked Dorian this. Haney trained his ass off for that show because he knew Yates was coming. He knew he finally had competition on the horizon. And Dorian, by his own admission, said that he overdieted for that show. He said, I could have been way, way better. He goes, I was so nervous. I wanted to bringing such good conditioning. He goes, but I could have been 15 pounds heavier probably for that show. And, I kind of blew it in a sense. But he still looked great at that show.
I remember, and I knew Dorian back then, but Dorian wasn't as big as he wasn't the Dorian that we knew. He was more that thinner. He had that fucking hair in it, but he was thinner.
Yeah, but he said I thought the same thing. He said he was actually a lot bigger before he dieted down. He goes, he over dieted for that show.
Yes, I agree with that. When I was talking to when he won the Night of the Champions, his fucking cheekbones, I mean, you could almost see the teeth through the fucking cheeks. I mean, I never saw anybody sucked in that low. I mean, it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
He had that fucking mullet, which doesn't help.
Yeah.
But then, I got to tell you, the one thing that really scared Haney is I don't know if it was Yates as much as he almost lost the year before because it was in Chicago to Lee Labrada.
Yeah, well, he was. I think Haney was worried. He knew he had to bring his best, so he trained his ass off for that show.
Remember, that's when they did that drug testing bullshit.
Right.
And Haney came in. He was 20 pounds less. He came in like 222 or 223.
Wow. Yeah.
And Labrada, a lot of people had Labrada beating him. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I'm sure if you asked Labrada, he had himself beating him. I know he did. I asked him.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Labrada was unbelievable back then. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, you had Muhammad Makawi used to beat guys. Muhammad Makawi was like fucking, I mean, he was so small, he could look up my nose. I'm sick of looking up everybody else's nose. Because, I'm 5'6", but he had to be 5'1", Muhammad Makawi.
Yeah.
But he would get up there at the Night of Champions and shit, and he beat Samir and stuff. So I'm just saying, those little guys, you have to take them serious. Their lines, their structure was unbelievable. Lee Labrada, classic physique, my God, he would be Mr. Olympia how many fucking years in a row with that physique?
But I think you're right. I think 98 might have been in the 90s probably the best Olympia because it was so close. There were no Olympias that were ever that close, and it was really because there was no reigning champion that was defending a title. So it was an open, vacated title. Everyone came in their best. People don't, we talk about Ronnie versus Flex, but we forget that Nasser was probably his best in his entire career when he placed third at that show. He was so good, but these other guys were at another level. But Nasser was his absolute best at that show.
I knew Nasser Sabati. He was a fucking great guy. I can't believe he's dead. He was a nice guy. I really liked him, to be honest with you. But let's not forget Sean Ray, too, was really fucking good. Was on his game.
Nasser would hang out with you, and you'd think he's great, and then you'd go to the bathroom, and your girlfriend would be there, and be like, yes, Greg is a little too short for you. I will give you my number. Meet me at my hotel room after. I'm sure Greg has a small penis too. I am 5. I am almost 6 feet. I will satisfy you much better than he will. And then you'll come back and be like, oh, Greg, my good friend, thank you for bringing me to New York and to taking me to this nice dinner.
You're right. But that also describes a lot of the bodybuilders in this fight.
Yeah, but Nasser wasn't even trying to hide it,
I had Franco Colombo trying to hit on my ex-wife, the mother of my kids. I mean, we were at a long time ago, it was a birthday party for Joe Gold.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And he was there, Arnold was there, and he was trying to dance with my wife on the dance floor. And I was playing around with him. I said, dude, if you want to dance with her, you got to dance with me because it's my girl, you know what I mean? And he's like, yeah, get out of here. You know what I mean? Like that. And then, I was like getting mad, so my friend pulled me away, and my ex-wife was like, get lost, because he was being a creep. He was actually almost like grabbing onto her and stuff, Dude, he's bad. He's fucking bad. You know that, right?
I didn't know that.
Dude, I was with Alessandro Save, Rosetta Mortati,
right?
Okay, and we went over, and Arnold's sitting there talking with some fucking, I don't know who the fuck he was talking with. It was a girl. It was somebody from the IFBB. And then Franco was in it. So I introduced Franco to Alessandro. You know what I told him, Franco, Alessandro Savi's Mr. Italy, Mr. World, Mr. Universe, the same ones that he won, because they all won the NABA World, right. Back in the, in those days, because that was the European thing.
Right. So
he looks at Alessandro, and the first thing he does is he grabs his shirt and he lifts up his fucking shirt and says, "How's your abs?" You know what I mean? Because you're in the fucking off season. First of all, because Alessandro's really big for a short guy.
Yeah.
Dave, he's 5'1", and in the off season he hits like 255.
No, I know. You would think Franco would have some kind of kinship with him being Italian.
No
short.
Kinship at all. They were speaking Italian. But Franco's from Sardinia, so that's a whole fucking like.
That's
we
true.
Don't
they
know.
speak a different language
like
almost, yeah.
that's like the land that God forgot. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, they're over there and it fucking, and he's like poking at his chest, poking at his arms, and then they're speaking. Then I said, hey, Franco, simmer down. I said, by the way, this is Rosetta, his wife. And Franco basically shoves us aside and puts his arm around his wife, and we take a picture. And he turns around and you can ask Rosetta about this. And Rosetta is from Italy, so she's
I know.
And I know I was just telling for the people. So then he goes to Arnold. He goes, look, Arnold, because you're not the only one that gets the girls. Look, I got one too. That's what he said. And Arnold's like, good for you. I'm over here talking. Get the fuck out. Arnold didn't give two shits. Dude, I was in the bathroom. I pranked Arnold at the last Olympia, the last Arnold Classic. But I got to tell you, I was in the bathroom a couple Arnold Classics ago. And I'll tell you about the prank in a second. But it was the funniest fucking thing because I'm in there, and you know how you're at the pee stall, you're talking to guys in there. I'm over there washing my hands, and all I hear is, oh man, like this, and really bad. Somebody's taking a really bad shit, real bad. And I mean this, and you could hear him in there grunting and stuff, and we're out there, we're laughing, and I'm talking with guys in the bathroom, And next thing I know, the door opens up. It was Ralph Moeller. You know what I mean?
Yeah, from Gladiator.
Holy shit, bro! I was like, holy fuck, dude! You were doing some serious gladiating in there, man. You were. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the fuck. He dropped a submarine in that fucking water. It was bad. You could hear him in there, and he was grunting and shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, so recently I'm in the Olympia. Jesus Christ, the Arnold. This is the last one. I want to just happen.
Yeah.
I'm in there now. I know Patrick, his son, and I'm with my girlfriend. My girlfriend's never
Patrick
been
Schwarzenegger. You're talking about, yeah.
Right, Patrick Schwarzenegger. Yeah. I know Patrick really. So now, my girlfriend's there. It's my girlfriend's birthday, March 4th.
Okay.
And she's never been to a bodybuilding show. She's not into this. You know my girlfriend.
Will Arnold recognize you? Will he acknowledge you when he sees you?
Oh yeah. It's a matter. I've met him 10,000 times over. I was in
No,
the
I know.
gym.
We used to train at the gym with him, so I'm just wondering if he remembers your antics back from way back then.
Yeah. Plus, when I did the fucking movie, Bigger, Stronger, Faster.
Right.
And I had seen him, and he grabbed my hand. And he pulled me close, and he said, like that, because, I talk shit about him.
Yeah, I know you did. You said, where's Arnold in all this? Yeah.
And then I went into this whole spin. To be like Arnold, you got to fuck over a few friends. Arnold's the Barracuda. You're the minute, and then I did the whole thing. The guy who's got the thumbs up like this has got the middle finger under the table. I did all that shit. So he remembers all that shit. So anyway, it's funny because I'll tell you, wait, I'll get to something about him with Patrick and everything, and Patrick saying shit to me. So anyway, I'm in the bathroom when I come out, and Arnold's washing his hands at the sink. He always washes his hands before he eats. He didn't go to the bathroom. He just washes his hands.
Yeah.
So I was in the
I do the same. Greg, by the way, I do the same thing. I wash my hands before I go to the bathroom because you're
really?
shaking everyone's hand. I don't want to touch myself. After having 4,000 people touching my hand.
I do too. I actually, I'm a germ freak, so I actually take the paper towel and open the door with the paper towel.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. Yeah, you're supposed to.
Right, because I don't want to touch my hand and shit. I don't want to wash my hands and then touch the fucking doorknob.
Right.
But anyway, so Arnold's washing his hands, right? And I come over. I just come out of the stall. I peed. I didn't shit.
Yeah.
But I walked over, and Arnold looks at me, and I looked at Arnold and said, dude, I'd shake your hand right now, but I just have my hand on my dick. And he goes, well, I guess then we're not shaking hands. So we wash, and at the same time, I'm with one of the guys from Iron Mag Labs. I don't want to say his name, but it's the owner's boy, okay? Rob DiMaggio's boy. So the owner's going, he's patting Arnold on the back. Now, Arnold's at the sink. He was at the sink next to Arnold on this side.
Why is he patting Arnold on the back?
Because he's going, Arnold.
Oh, my God, how embarrassing.
I'm with Gregg Valentino. I'm here with him. Arnold, I'm here with Gregg Valentino. So then Arnold's got his back to him, and he's just kind of like, who the fuck is this guy tapping my back? So he shakes my hand. So now we both wash it. So we shake hands, and we said a few things to each other. I said, by the way, Arnold, I'm sorry, but my friend is wiping his hands on your back. He's using your back to dry his hands. So Arnold fucking kind of looks over his shoulder, turns around, and the guy got so mad at me. He goes, you fucking asshole. Oh, Arnold, that's not true. I didn't wipe my hand. You fucking asshole. What a fucking ass. And I said, hey, simmer down. It's a joke. Arnold knows it's a joke, right, Arnold? And Arnold said to me, let's get out of here. So listen, the guy goes, So the guy grabs Arnold's arm and goes, Arnold, can I get my picture taken? Which I swear I wasn't tapping your back. And he goes, Arnold goes, yeah, sure. And then Arnold goes, let's go. So we go, and the guy's up with his camera, and we leave him in there. And he's laughing, so we're laughing. I said, where's Patrick? And as soon as that comes, Patrick starts walking to us, you know? So Arnold leaves, I shake his hand, he leaves, and I'm now talking to Patrick. The guy comes running out of the bathroom. You motherfucker, I've been waiting my whole life to see Arnold, my whole fucking life, and you ruined it for me. You ruined it. And no shit, I got fired not too far after that. But, because that was Rob DiMaggio. He went back to the table, he was freaking out, telling Rob, he fucking ruined it. But anyway, so I introduced my girlfriend. Now remember, Patrick, I know Patrick a long time, and I remember the first time I met Patrick, he's going, where do I fucking know you from? I know you from somewhere. And I didn't want to tell him I was the guy to talk shit about your father in that movie, you know what I mean? And then he realized, and he's like, oh, I remember now, that's all right, don't worry about it. So anyway, now I'm talking with Patrick, and I said, hold on, Patrick, it's my girlfriend's birthday, because she thinks he's hot. My girlfriend thinks George Bush is good looking. She's disgusting. So anyway, maybe that's why I'm lucky, because
you're lucky, right? Yeah, right. You would be.
I'm an ugly motherfucker, so that helps. But anyway, so I get my girlfriend over, and she comes walking over to Patrick, and she's standing there like this, and Patrick leans over and gives her a kiss and says, happy birthday. And she's standing, and she was like Ralph Cramden. You remember in that movie, Kenneth Corey Apple? Remember he was like just standing there like this.
Now you're really dating yourself.
I know, other people don't know, but you know what I'm talking about. So what I'm saying is that, it was funny because she froze. She couldn't move. And I'm like, well, say thank you. Say, talk to him. And she's like, thank you. And then he's dating Miley Cyrus, Yeah.
Do you think that Patrick will run for president one day?
Who, Patrick?
Yeah, I think so.
You never know. I'm not into the whole, they're Republicans that think like Democrats, Well, he's half and half. Yeah. Remember something, not for nothing, but Patrick, and this is when I first met him too, by the way, is way back when his father pulled that bullshit, banging a maid and everything like that. Yeah. Patrick changed his name to Patrick Shriver on Twitter and everything. For a while, he denounced the whole Schwartz thing.
Oh, I didn't know that. Really?
Yeah, Google that. You can Google it. Check it out. He was calling himself. They were disgusted.
Yeah. Well, look, shit happens. I actually interviewed Patrick backstage at the Arnold. I can't even remember what year it was. It might have been 2009 or 10. I was with the Smalley brothers, and the Smalleys like, you got to interview Patrick Schwarzenegger. I said, what? I said, I don't want to ask him. The kid's back here just hanging out. They're like, no, get him. And they ran after him. The kid thought he was getting they thought they were going to kidnap him or something like that. There was like 40 security guards came, and I said, no, those guys are with me. And he actually agreed to the interview. It was a really good interview. He really hadn't done anything yet, but it was he was a nice kid. He was very gracious. And I said, you know what? This guy's going to be president one day. I could see him running for president. Absolutely.
He could. He's a good-looking boy. He's taller than Arnold too. He's got to be 6'3", 6'4". He's
got the best of both worlds. He's got the politics family. He's got it made. All he's got to do is stay out of trouble, no scandals, and I think he could run for president one day. Uh-oh. That might be all she wrote for Gregg Valentino. I think Arnold, the censors, Arnold got the button, he pushed the button, and that was the end of Gregg.
I know his brother, and I met the whole family. They used to sit right in the first row. Remember that shit? I was there with Blackman, and actually I think you were there and Triple H when we all sat. Remember? Sure. You and I, we had dinner. I took a picture of you because you were eating pasta. I don't know if you remember. I have that picture. I'll send it to you if you want. I got the picture.
I needed the tryptophan, Greg. That's why I was doing the carbs. I needed the tryptophan.
Oh, shit. That's funny. I remember that. That was good. Remember we all
serotonin.
Had dinner together.
No, excuse me. Serotonin. I need serotonin. I need the serotonin. That's why. You got to have carbs once in a while. Serotonin. Very important.
But that's the first time I saw you ever eat anything like that. So I took a picture. Remember, I was sitting right next to you. Triple H was sitting there. We were all
when we would go to those dinners with muscular development, Blackman would have a rationalization for anything that wasn't healthy. Wine, vino, opens up the blood vessels, and then the bread would come. I'm like, Steve, you don't eat bread. We need the serotonin. Yeah, you gotta have some carbs once in a while for the serotonin. And then the dessert would come, and I'm like, Steve, You don't need dessert. Yeah, you need the sugar. We're gonna glycogen load. We're gonna glycogen load. We need to get some insulin surge. So that would rationalize the whole cockamamie dinner we would eat.
It's funny though. You got to admit one thing though. He would he was generous with the fucking.
Oh, the best dinners. I learned how to drink wine with him. He was the best with the dinners.
Oh, dude, he would get fucking giant steaks. I mean, I sat with John Romano, and they challenged me to eat a steak. It was like a 3-pound fucking steak. I ate the whole thing, and the next day I shit out 5 pounds of meat.
Greg, what's your best steak? I want to know what your best steak is, because I'll buy it for you as long as you eat it with your hands only, no fork and knife.
I did eat it with my hands, if you remember correctly. I used to eat them. He used to get them beautiful T-bones. They were this fat, and they were like this. I would eat 2 or 3 of them, and then I would eat he was very generous with that. Ask Romano. He was there. I ate. Dad, I forgot where we were. We were at one of those steakhouses.
I'll give you a massage while you're eating the dinner. Don't worry about it. Just eat the beef. We want to see you do it.
Massage.
Anyway, well, Greg, you're not going to the Olympia this week, are you?
No, I can't go to Olympia. But Dave, you know what it is? I like the classical physique shit better now than I do like the Olympia.
No, I do too. It's more exciting because you don't know who's going to win.
These young guys coming up with some bodies. That Bumstead kid, the black kid that you went on the other day, that kid was amazing.
Yeah.
Those guys are amazing. They got beautiful physiques.
What's your prediction for the future? 10 years from now, where will the Olympia be held? Who will be the champion?
It's hard to say. My prediction is very hard because I think they're going to continue this Vegas stuff. I used to like it when they would have it in like the Super Bowl, when they would have it in a different city every year. I don't like the whole Vegas thing, but I think that that's permanent. I don't see that going anywhere else. But I'm going to tell you something. I think that bodybuilding is going to always be there, but I think the freaks will always be the freaks and people will always like that stuff. But I think classic physique will actually shine more and draw more attention to the sport. Because the next Arnold's going to come out of classic physique.
Yeah.
You can't have some guy like this and shit like that and be like, going to movies. What's he going to play? Oh, the role of a freak or something like that, a mutant, you know what I mean?
Shrek, yeah, Shrek.
Right. But if you're going to, exactly, like a Shrek, okay? But if you have somebody like a Chris Bumstead who's a good-looking guy and that girls want to, oh man, they want to bang that, and guys want to look like that. I think that and guys who appeal to the gay guys too. I mean, that's what they like. Right. They don't like all this freaky monster mass. I honestly believe that look, a guy like a Chris Bumstead one day, good-looking kid, I think he could cross over too, and that would bring a lot more people into bodybuilding.
Yeah. You might be right. I think the Olympia will change hands. I think I think AMI is gonna get sick of doing it eventually because I think the whole business model will change. I don't think that the expos will be as important. Obviously the magazines are all done. I think that there's going to be a change and it's going to become like a social media Olympia. I don't know how I couldn't even predict how it's going to be because I don't think we could have predicted 10 years ago that social media now would be the way it is. So I don't think we can't conceptualize what it'll be like in 10 years because I think it's going to be so much different and things will have changed with technologies that don't exist yet that we're going to be, we'll have this conversation in 10 years and we'll probably be doing it, virtually.
Dave,
you'll see like a holographic image of Greg and me and it'll look like we're in the same room together probably.
We'll be old men. Dave, pass the Geritol. No,
but maybe by then we'll be able to hit like the enhance button. So people won't even know we're old. We'll just look young in whatever image is projected to the audience that's watching.
I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah.
I look ugly now. I see myself. But you know what, Dave? Honestly, you're right about the social media. It killed magazines because now, forget about it. You know what I mean? But the only thing is everybody's a celebrity today. Everybody's making a video. Guys and girls who train for 6 months all want to compete already. Guys who train for 6 months and girls who train for 6 months all start doing their own personal training. You know what I mean? Right. I'm a personal trainer. 6 months ago, you never even stepped in a gym. You know what I mean?
But you know what? I always say, Greg, there's like different levels of that. You know what I mean? You could be an expert training 6 months, and you might get people that just started training that see you as an expert. But when they get sick and realize that you don't really know that much, then they go looking for the real experts. And then people, that's why people, I don't have to try to have every single person, watching me. Eventually, the people that are serious, that want to take it, to a higher level and want to be educated, will come to, to my site and watch my material, because they'll realize, the superficial stuff that they learned from maybe the pop, as my dad would say, pop icon, or pop stars on social media, really was just kind of fluff. It was introductory stuff. Now, hey, I want to really learn what's going on here. And so then they go to the people who've been around a long time. So, there's so many people who have entered the sport now. It's not bad for the sport. It's good for the sport to have different levels of entry points. And, like I said, I think people like you and myself and other people that have been around Romano for many years will still be revered, because we have knowledge not only of the history of the sport, but of just of the evolution of the knowledge of the sport. And that's important.
Absolutely.
That's important.
Absolutely. Listen, in the 70s, people did the same close to a ketogenic diet.
Yeah.
Milk, eggs, water, you know what I mean? Like that. Right. I know a lot of people don't like milk, but, I'm talking about like heavy cream, which is...
Right, there was no protein powders then, so they had to do that.
Right. The Vince Gironda thing was in a heavy cream and everything. But he had people doing eggs, meat, and water. Eggs, meat, and water for shows. I mean, it's not far off for what's going on today.
No, it worked. They just didn't know the difference between different types of fats.
The 80s came and everybody started that high carb shit, low fat stuff. You know what I mean? Right. Then came Mauro Di Pasquale and people like that, and then they went back more towards, the meat and But I got to tell you, getting back to the Olympia, one more thing, David. I agree with you on this. I think that one day, 10 years from, or maybe more from now, they may do it like, okay, everybody, almost like a game show where everybody pushes a button. Who do you have to win? And I think maybe one day we may not have judges. The people may be the judges, the mass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't think that'll ever take place, because it's the American Idol Olympia will never, sit, because you need experienced judges. It's like, are you going to have the general public vote for who the best gymnast is at the Olympics? I mean, if you don't know anything about gymnastics, then it's really not a fair assessment of what these girls are doing on, as far as jumping around and flipping around. Same thing with bodybuilding. You have to understand the nuances of bodybuilding to judge bodybuilding. I think that's the important thing.
You're right, but you know what it is? I always say this. It's like, bodybuilding is not really a sport to me. It's more of an art. It's more of because listen, think about it this way, okay? When you look at a Pablo Picasso or a Michelangelo, well, Pablo Picasso looks like shit. I did when I was in 10th grade in high school, whereas Michelangelo is, Michelangelo, you know what I mean? But who's to say who's a better artist?
Right.
If we talk about bodybuilding, follow what I'm going to say and tell me what you think about this, because this is an argument I give everybody. Yeah. If you talk about bodybuilding, right, which is supposed to be the ultimate development of the muscle, of every muscle, the synergy and the whole bit. If you went into Times Square and you had two pictures in your hand, one picture of Frank Zane and one picture of Marcus Rule, and you said you stopped people on the street, you said one of these two guys is considered one of the greatest bodybuilders ever. Most people would probably point to Marcus Rule, because if you go body part by body part in sheer development, go calves, Marcus Rule, front thighs, Marcus Rule, hamstrings, Marcus Rule, waist, abdominals and the midsection, we'll give that to Frank Zane. Pecs, Marcus Rule. Deltoids, Marcus Rule. Shoulders, bicep, tricep, Marcus Rule. Back, Marcus Rule. So now if you look at all that, by sheer development, Marcus Rule should actually annihilate Frank Zane. And you and I both know that could never, ever happen, not on his best day. Right. You know what I'm saying? So to judging is really a matter of, in my opinion, it's a matter of opinion. How many times we've seen a show and we go, holy shit, man, that dude got robbed. You know what I mean? He should have won. And because it's a matter of opinion. Some people look at abstract art, it looks like painted splat on the wall, and they go, my God, that's beautiful. Right. That's splat, dude. I make one of them in my toilet every morning. What do you know what I'm saying? So who's to say? It's very hard. We have a criteria.
Greg, I have a great idea. We should get the paints that come in those, you can squirt them out of the bottle. The kids have
of course.
We should squirt a couple bottles up your ass and let you take a shit every morning with the paint up there on a big canvas, and we'll sell it for like $10,000 a painting.
Holy shit. Dave might like that. Lately I've been
eating a lot. You'd be fucking loaded, man. You would be the greatest artist of all time. We'll call it ass art, You know
what they would say? That's synthol. He only shits like that because he said synthol.
Well, yeah, you could do water-based paints with all the oil in you, right?
Holy Christ. It's just, I was talking about that yesterday. I was doing a show, and I was just saying, You know what's crazy, Dave? After, I took all these steroids, I was taking 6,000 milligrams of testosterone, right? And this is stera shit. I was taking a bottle of propionate, sometimes cypionate, but mostly propionate, 200 milligrams steris propionate. I would take one bottle, a whole bottle on Monday, a whole bottle on Wednesday, and then a whole bottle on Friday.
Right.
And this is stera shit.
Yeah.
Then I would take a jug of Ganabol.
Right.
I'm getting to something. I'm leading to something. Check this out. So I take a jug of Ganabol, which is 50 cc's.
Right.
And I would take that and throw that in the mix once a week.
So that's about 8,500 milligrams, right?
It's something like, yeah, that's at least. Wait, but I'm not even. Then I would smack in a couple fucking either metanabol, which was unbelievable. Fucking metanabol was the greatest.
So you were taking 10 grams of gear a week. You were taking basically.
Probably that much.
Yeah.
But I mean, if the oil, that chick. But I'm saying I would take Stens and then Sustenance.
Right.
So that's why I never took Synthol. People always like Synthol, But anyway, so listen. So now I would do that in 1 week's time. The next week I would do the same fucking thing. All right.
Yeah.
So I would do, repeat. So after I got arrested, after I got out of jail, after all this bullshit, I didn't do steroids for like fucking 3 years. I was on probation, and they were giving me a hard time about stuff, right? They were really bad. So, and probation's
Were you failing drug tests because you still had the stuff in your system?
I actually failed the drug test because I took ephedrine. They said I was on amphetamines. You know what I mean? So listen, so I went to Dr. Carlin Coker, and he took my fucking blood because I wanted to get on hormone replacement. So if I was on hormone replacement, then they would leave me the fuck alone.
Right.
This is like 3 years later. And I was still really big too. And Coker, I failed the fucking test. My blood was still real high, in testosterone and everything, right? And he goes to me, dude, you got so much fucking testosterone oil sitting in you that it's like time-released juice. It took years. So I was not on steroids, but I was like on steroids.
Yeah.
I had pools of shit sitting in me.
You might still be on them for all we know.
No, it's out. Dude, I'm Pee Wee Herman right now. Look at me. I weigh about 190 or 185, I'm dieted. I'm doing exactly what you're doing. I'm following it. I don't want to be big, bro. I'm 2 years. I'm going to be less than 2 years. I'm going to be 60.
You weigh the same thing I do, but you're about 4 inches shorter than me, 5 inches shorter.
Yeah. I'm 5'6". What are you?
5'9" on a good day, yeah. No, about 5'9.5", yeah.
Yeah, because you look a little bit taller to me.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I don't want to be big like that anymore. I don't want to,
Right.
I haven't been big like that in years. But what I'm saying is, I'm doing exactly what you did. I'm slow.
Well, you want to live a long time, yeah. You want to be a 95-year-old Italian, sitting on his his couch, with the.
I even followed. Because I text you and I talk and stuff,
Yeah.
and I even ask you, and I'm doing everything you say. I don't take I do take caffeine, but not much, very little. Like I used to live on it. I would wake up in the morning, I pound down a fucking.
I know.
I don't do that anymore.
I bet you're not shitting as bad anymore either because you're not doing all the stims.
I'm not. I take your fiber life. Look, wait, hold on. I'm gonna show
Don't pull the cord out again. We're gonna lose you.
Remember, you gave me a couple of these.
He's got to be on some caffeine.
You gave me the ones that didn't have the label. Remember, you had.
I gave you a bunch of them. Yeah, the unlabeled ones. Those are the special ones. Don't show those off. Those are the super fibrillizers.
Dude, well, it works, bro. Let me tell you something. You people out there, I'm not blowing smoke up Dave's ass, but I take this I'm almost out. You know what I'm saying?
You're gonna have to get more. We're gonna have to get you more. That's why Greg's doing the interview. He needs more fibrillized. Did you want to apologize to someone, to Rich's family, Rich Piana's family?
Yeah, well, I don't. You know what it is? I still have my beliefs. My beliefs haven't changed, but I didn't want to hurt anybody, Dave. I don't want to hurt anybody. Okay. So I don't want to hurt. Rich's mother lost a kid. You know what I mean? So I did that video. I didn't do it with intentions of hurting anybody, and I apologize if I hurt anybody. His brother got a hold of me. I don't want to hurt. I don't want to hurt anybody. So I'm done with that shit. So you guys don't ever have to worry. People watching this shit. I said what I said. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We all have different views on things, and I got to be honest with you. I feel like I hurt, the family, so I apologize. I don't want to. I'm done. I'm done with that subject. You know what I mean? Like I'm not making no more videos on any of that shit.
Right. I have talked to Gregg, and I told him I want him to start focusing on his channel. So the Gregg Valentino YouTube channel, I told Gregg 2 videos every week I want up there. And all you guys who watch my videos here, we have 140,000 subscribers. I got to go subscribe to Gregg's channel now, show him the love and support, because that's how Gregg's going to pay his bills. With you guys watching his crazy videos, and the more the money comes in, I guarantee you the crazier the videos will get. So, Gregg, don't let me down. Make sure you do your 2 videos every week.
I'm gonna start doing videos. I am,
right.
and Dave talks to me. Let me tell you something. Anytime I have problems, like medically, I always text Dave. You know what I mean?
I'm everyone's doctor. I'm the doctor.
You
the
are.
Official,
You
the
are.
unofficial doctor.
You're the only one I believe in. And I'm not. I didn't make up that title. Greg calls out Dave. I love you. You know that. And you and I talked about this a gazillion times.
Right.
And I respect you and love you. It has nothing. And your family, your whole family. You know what I mean? Your 2 kids, you're beautiful, and your wife is phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? So I got nothing but crazy love for you.
Yeah.
You know that. But people out there, they actually think that we're fighting over this or something.
Because you and I both don't take anything seriously. So
I don't take anything seriously.
I don't take offense to anything.
The only thing I don't like is that motherfucker. There's somebody out there. Don't threaten. Don't threaten. You don't want that because there's a lot more than you're gonna open. You're gonna open a bad can of worms, bro. Don't threaten.
You've been threatened by the best of them, the Charlie Arms,
Dude,
right?
you got to be kidding me. And but you also threaten. You made a lot more enemies. I'm the last that you got to worry about. You know what I mean? Trust me. Don't threaten. Never threaten. Don't ever threaten. Just
and on those wise words, Greg, if I don't get you off the show, I'm not going to be able to finish the rest of my work today. So, Greg, thank you. I love you. I'm going to be at the Olympia this week. We'll be missing you out there. Maybe one of these days we'll get you back to the Olympia.
Yeah, one day I'm going to go down to Florida because my son, like I said, I think he's going to be moving to Tampa, so you might be seeing me over there with you.
Greg's son works for the government, does special ops, but Greg is privy to none of the information because he knows that Greg's got a big mouth and he'll tell everyone.
My son is special ops intelligence. He's with he's NSA intelligence. He's been NSA since he was in the Army.
And Greg's on a need-to-know basis, and his son has decided that he doesn't need to know anything that he's doing.
My son would not, he tells me, I'll tell anybody but you. You're the last person I would tell. Well, he doesn't tell anybody, but he's saying you're the last person I would tell. He wouldn't tell me shit because he knows my son's nothing like me at all. Not even close. But,
Greg, send my regards to your girlfriend, and how's the gecko doing I gave you?
Dude, hey, Lucia, come here really fast. Just bring Dave.
I gave Greg a gecko before I moved out of New York because I didn't want to bring it with me.
I wanted you to see Dave. I got to tell you something. Dave gave me the gecko, and he was eating this little mealy sand type looking shit that Dave gave me.
Yeah.
But Dave, we put him on crickets or whatever.
Oh, I'm sure he loves crickets. Is like crack for them.
This is the greatest reason why you fucking vegans are nuts, bro. The minute we started giving the gecko meat, he grew. He got jacked. His head's big. Wait, just share. I know just show him. Wait, here, just show me.
When I had him, he was like oh wow, he got huge.
Dave, look at him.
Greg, you got him on steroids, don't you?
Yeah, I wish. Look at him, Dave.
He's like fluorescent. What do you got him on? What do you put him on, Deca?
Here, take one. Dave, he's fucking huge. No, I swear to God.
You put him on Deca, didn't you?
We give him a little isolize.
Okay, that's fine. All right, that's fine. All right, I gotta go. My son just walked in. I love you, Greg. We'll talk to you next time. We're out of time, guys. Remember, anytime you want a news update on Gregg Valentino, shoot me an email. We'll get him on the show. We love the guy. And stay tuned because I'm heading out to Las Vegas, Nevada for the 2018 Olympia. You guys are going to get firsthand coverage from Dave Palumbo and RXMuscle.com all weekend long. Greg, we'll be missing you out in Vegas, but c'est la vie.
I love you, bro.
All right.
Give a big hug to the kids and the family for me.
Take it easy.
Thank you, Davey.